Please be advised that Little Miss Recap contains adult language. Rip is hanging out with Beth too much. This is the Bethification of Rip. Hi everyone, welcome to Little Miss Recap, the podcast where the ranch comes before everything. I'm Amye Archer, I'm your host, and I'm here with my best friend, the meatball to my spaghetti. No, you're the spaghetti.
I'm the spaghetti.
What up? Stephanie. Hi, Steph.
What's up?
Not much. What's going on with you?
What's going up?
What's going on?
I can tell you what's not going up.
Did you watch the Sister Wives trailer?
I did. It was amazing. I cannot wait. Like, this is everything we've been waiting for with these people.
I know, because what people don't understand is how, I was trying to explain this to Mary Payne. She's like, so she told him to fuck off. What's the big deal? I'm like, no. You have to understand how careful and conscious of the camera these people have always been. Even when Janelle uttered that fuck you, she immediately caught herself. The fuck you last season, remember?
Yep. And
so, go ahead.
The thing for me with Janelle is she was always the Cody cheerleader.
Yes.
Janelle was always the cheerleader of their lifestyle, I feel like. Always. She was always trying to be a voice of reason, trying to side with Cody. She was always, I always felt anyway, the backbone of a lot of what held them together, I think.
Well,
and
she literally paid for their lifestyle.
I know she did. And I'm here for it. And I am so glad that she's finally standing up for herself and for these people, the rest of the people. By the people, I mean the rest of the family that he's shit all over. I love it so much. Did you see the photos posted? There was a wedding recently this weekend.
Right? From Gwen's wedding. Yes. And Cody was there.
Yep.
And he's holding, I think, McKelty's baby. Did she have the twins? McKelty had twins?
I think so. Yeah.
So she's holding, because one of them is named Ace. How could we forget that?
I know. I love it.
So there is, he's holding a baby. Robin's holding a baby, I believe.
Oh, I didn't see Robin anywhere. That was what I was going to say. I didn't see Robin.
Yeah. I do want to tell our listeners, especially those of you with audible sensibilities, Steph and I are sniffling a little bit today because it is allergy season. So if you hear me sniffling, if you hear her sniffling, we're doing our best to try not to do it, but I'm a mess this morning.
I am too. It's really bad. And I'm not somebody that usually has allergies. And I was even pumping the allergy drops in my eyeballs this morning because I couldn't open my eyes. So
yeah,
bear with us.
It's pretty bad. There was one other thing I wanted to say about the Sister Wives trailer. Now I forget. Oh, I know what I want to say about Janelle, particularly. I always felt really bad for Janelle because I feel like she settled. And we saw that last season when she was telling Christine, even though my marriage isn't good and we don't have intimacy, it's good enough. It's good enough for me. I don't want more than this. And it's girl, you need to want more than this for yourself.
I know. But you know what I love so much is I think that her seeing Christine evolve.
Yes.
I think 100%. Really helped her do that. And I love that so much for her. I really do. I am so happy that these people are getting away from that asshole.
100%. And even though we were not married to the same man, I feel like you and I kind of did this. I got divorced and then you got divorced. And it was you see somebody do it and you're it can be done. I mean, your situation was different. You had children. So that was much more complicated than me just walking away. But there is some sense to that. I'm sure I saw somebody do it. Do you know what I mean?
Of
you
course.
See someone do it and you're it is survivable.
Just
and then
kind
you're
of
okay.
How I had twins and then you were well, then I guess I have to have them.
even at
I'm
work,
kidding.
like,
I'm kidding.
we even at work, we had, like, a rash of people getting divorced all at one
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Like,
Always,
it
yeah.
can be contagious because people are
For
like,
sure.
"Oh, okay, it can be done." So I feel like Janelle, you're absolutely right. Saw Christine, saw her with David
Oh, love
Woolley or
it.
whatever, and was like, "I need my own David Woolley. Here we go."
And I love how Christine is like slinking into these pretty dresses and like she's really
Yeah.
feeling herself. And like
She
what's
is.
so funny is like I'm looking at her through pictures and I'm like, I totally know where she is in her own headspace.
Uh-huh,
And we're
uh-huh,
seeing it in like her physical sense. And it's just there's
uh-huh.
something kind of a little bit dorky about it, but also like super fucking endearing that she's
Yes.
finally experiencing love. And I'm
Yes, and
just I love it so much for her.
me too, and I love how, like, she in the trailer comes back to talk to Janelle, and, like, you could just see, like, the lightness of her
Mm,
being because she
I
just
know.
doesn't have to deal with this shit anymore,
I
and she's just
know.
like, "Oh, I know, everybody's so angry, right?" Like, she's just,
And
like,
also,
stirring the pot.
if David Woolley is listening, I just want him to know that he better be fucking good to her because if he turns out to be a bad guy, we're all coming for him.
You
Just
know,
saying.
I will say this, a lot of people said, "Oh, she jumped into this too quick, blah, blah, blah." We've heard a lot of that, okay? As somebody who in my previous marriage was married to somebody who pretty much was non-existent, I could tell you that Christine pretty much lived as a single person for probably the last 5 or 6 years. So she is 100% ready to do this.
Yes. And I would say probably even longer than that.
Yeah.
Because when I went back and looked, like because I did go back and rewatched all of the seasons, like within the last year, I think.
Of course you did,
And
because that's what you
of
do.
course I did. Hmm.
Because you're a better
Um,
person than me.
no, I just needed a refresher. But I feel like if you go back and rewatch, you can kind of see from the beginning that she struggled with all of this shit, but she made excuses for it for a very long time. And it's
Yes,
just
she did.
crazy. Like it was wild to me to be able to go back and see, like, see, this was happening all along. And she kept trying to
Yes.
stand up for herself. And I don't
Yes.
think she ever, I don't want to say ever, but I do think that there were times when her standing up for herself looked bratty or just came off the
Oh,
wrong,
well,
like,
yeah, to Cody it did.
took 100%. And then he, I think, kind of had us all convinced that she was expecting too much or wanting too
Mhm.
much from this
Mhm.
plural family. But like the more that I watched and really delved into all of these seasons, because I binged them, it was telling. Like it
Oh,
really
yeah, I mean,
is. It's worth rewatching.
season 1, she is like, "I am not happy. I do not
I
want
know.
Robin to come into the family." Like,
I know.
as
And no one listened.
no one listened. No one listened. Nope.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
Alright,
interrupt you.
so let's get into Yellowstone. I'm gonna timestamp this in the show notes so everybody knows
I
when
know,
our
because we
Sister Wives
talk.
chat stops.
We talk too
And we're
long.
gonna
I
get
do.
into Yellowstone. Now, I will tell
Ooh.
everybody that Yellowstone, because of the writer's strike and everything, season 1 is gonna move to CBS in the fall. So
Oh,
on
okay.
CBS, like prime time, like 9 p.m., you're gonna have John Dutton and his ranch. So tell
Mm.
your mother-in-laws, tell your grandmas, get watching that cowboy drama because they will love it.
And
And
it's
it's gonna
so
be on
good.
Sunday nights, 9 o'clock, 9 or 10
It's
something.
actually It's funny that you say that because my in-laws are watching it from the start right now.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen it and I made them start watching it and they're obsessed. So I love
Oh,
it.
Leo probably loves it.
So does Daria. They're here
Yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, we all like it for different reasons. Okay. So let's start with Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 2, The Sting of Wisdom. All right.
Meow.
So we start this episode back in time. So we start a little bit before the accident. As we remember,
Mm.
Monica was driving crazy. Even though she was having contractions, she didn't let Tate take the wheel. I don't understand that.
I still will
And
never understand that.
I'm not blaming her, of course. However, you know, better
I'm
choices
not.
could have been made. So we open up on the crash, and Tate is coming to. and he's struggling to get out of the car. We see him cut his seatbelt off of him, and we learn Monica's in a field giving birth
How?
to the baby.
Please, okay. Please,
Okay.
we need to break this down for a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
Are we forgetting that Tate is also still a child? How did
Tate is a
she end up in
child.
a field and left that kid in the car? Or was she thrown from the car? Because it didn't look like she was thrown from
It
the
didn't look
car.
like she was thrown from the car. What I think happened is she came to, maybe tried to get Tate up and couldn't, went to get out of the car, maybe to get help or, something, and
Ugh.
just started going right into labor. I mean, labor's
Ugh.
going to derail any plans that you
I
have.
guess.
Guys, PSA, labor will derail your Friday night plans. Just will.
Your dinner
So
plans are done.
So she yells to Tate, get a phone, call an ambulance, and he can't find his phone. And I'm like, oh, this is me on any Thursday night, searching between the couch cushions.
There was something about watching that kid cut himself from those seatbelts that did, like, I was not okay.
It was
I
upsetting.
guess
It was
it was
upsetting.
upsetting. And I don't know, I was thinking of my own boys at that age and just how traumatizing that is. And I just felt really bad.
Yes. So it's a few days later, and Tate is looking real mopey. He's,
Mm.
got some PTSD, I'm sure. He's traumatized. Casey and Monica are lying in bed together, and I just have a note here that I'm really glad that they didn't turn this storyline into them blaming each other. You
Yes.
know what I mean? Like, I'm glad that Monica
Yes.
wasn't like, because Casey even says later, like, I'm sorry I wasn't here. I should have been here. She's like, nope, we're not doing that.
I
And
know,
like,
that was
I'm really
amazing.
glad that they didn't do that because these two, I
I know.
believe in their love. They are my
I
dream
know.
couple. I like them over Beth and Rip. I know I'm in the minority, but these two are the power couple that we all need.
So here's the thing, I don't disagree with you on a lot of those points. I just don't think they're great parents to Tate. And that
Oh,
aggravates the shit out of
I
me.
think she's a good mother to Tate.
Why is no one consoling Tate?
Oh,
No
see,
one is
I don't
consoling
know.
Tate. No. Mm-mm.
I don't know. I think you're
No.
so I don't know. I mean, I've never lost a baby. I think
Obviously
you
I
would
haven't
just be
either.
so devastated that you can't even I don't know. I think
I know.
Casey tries. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think he does because it just that it I feel like, okay, so there's that scene where they're walking to the truck and
Mhm.
Tate asks
Mhm.
if they're going to try again, and I feel like that was a moment, like I feel like Casey missed a moment of consoling that kid when he really needed it. Like they're treating him as an adult, and that's really pissing me off. She's strong.
Well,
She's a strong woman. We have to, you lost a brother, but she lost part of her. And I get that. But we're
mhm.
also still, this kid was still in a horrible accident where he almost lost his mother,
Yeah,
had to free
that's a good
himself
point.
from a
Yeah.
seatbelt. And no, like, why is no one, the only one you saw consoling him was Beth. Just saying.
Oh god.
I'm just saying.
Yes, that is a very good point. However, let's not forget the toxic environment Casey was raised in. It's all about
I know.
machismo, being a man, being a man. And so
Ugh,
I
I
think
know.
even though he does a little better with that, there is still that in him. Do you know what I mean? And
I
it's all
do.
about Monica right now. It's all about
I know.
Monica. So you're right. He says, you lost a brother and I lost a son, but she lost more. He was a part of her, so she lost a part of herself, if that makes sense. Thought it was beautiful.
Mhm.
I love him so
It was
much.
beautiful. I love him
I love
too.
him.
I love him too. I just want more for Tate.
Okay,
Justice for
so
Tate.
maybe John will consult Tate. John loves Tate.
I know he does, and I think
But
it's
you're
sweet.
right, like, Tate, let's not forget that he had to shoot somebody who was attacking his mother last season.
I know, but this
But
is my
Tate's
point.
he's kind of been parentified from the beginning. You know what I
I know,
mean? Like,
but
he's
that's why
always
I
been
think
like a little adult.
they're shitty parents
Yeah.
because
So
no kid should ever have to parent. I can't. This is touchy for me.
So Rip and Carter saddle up John's horse and they're heading out with Lloyd. And this is a hilarious scene because
Yeah, it is.
Rip is so impatient with Carter. He's like, God didn't add extra daylight to Tuesday, Carter. Hurry the fuck up. And he keeps just yelling at him like, hurry the fuck. Oh, this fucking kid. Come on. This is me getting my
I
kids ready
know.
to go to school in the
I
morning.
know. Me too. Me too.
Um
And I love how Poor Lloyd is always getting yelled at too. Lloyd, you handle this. Lloyd, take care of
Yes.
this. Lloyd, go
Yes.
clean that shit up. Lloyd.
Yes.
And he
Yep.
just does it. Like,
Yep.
can't.
Yep. So in Helena, John Dutton has assembled his Avengers, his new team, and his new chief of staff is Jim Roberts. So there's this
Mm,
talk of this education bill, like this trade school bill that John is supposedly pushing but has never even seen. And it's
hmm
to fund this private trade school with two guys' names on it. So John, being the Avenger that he is, he calls the guy in and he's like, which one of these two dudes is your buddy? Like he's accusing everybody of nepotism,
I know.
anti-government, like, this whole thing. And he replaces him with Beth. He's like, Beth, you're my new chief of staff. That's it, done. Because you got nothing else to
He's
do.
literally like, meet my daughter Beth. She's my
Yeah.
new chief of staff. Get the fuck out of my office. I was like, oh my God.
It was pretty baller. Like I wish I could do that kind of move.
Me too. It was hot,
So
actually.
it's a little hot. A little hot. And I don't find him hot, but it's a
I
little hot.
do. I do.
So
Oof.
really?
I really
Okay.
do. I
Okay.
do. I'm a little
So John
embarrassed.
and Jamie and Beth have this conversation about canceling the airport lease and funding. And Jamie rightfully points out that they can't do this. He's like, you can't cancel that lease. They will sue you. And I'm not talking about like they're going to sue the governor's office. They're going to sue you, John Dutton,
Right.
and
Yeah.
take the ranch. So if you remember, Jamie and Linnell were behind this leasing option, and we learn a little bit more about this later. But the land, they basically have leased part of the ranch to these people to build this airport. Linnell is backing Jamie up. I think those two are going to sleep together.
Linnell and Jamie.
Yes. Yep. Do you notice how
Okay.
much she's been defending him, sticking up for him?
I
Like
do.
it's been a thing.
It's been a thing, but
Hmm.
okay.
So
I didn't pick up on that, but you might be right.
and I just, I have a note here that suddenly Beth seems to know her way around these real estate laws,
I
outsmarting
know.
even the attorney general in the room and
I
coming
know
up
that
with the idea that the land is not properly zoned, therefore they can't get the lease. Like, come on.
I know that annoyed
Come
me as well.
Yeah. Beth is
Mhm.
not, Beth likes to think she's the smartest person in the room all the time, but she's not always. No
Mm-mm.
one is the smartest person in the room all the time.
Nope.
So
Nope.
Jamie wants to talk with John one on one, and Beth tells him, "No, go do your fucking job." I hate her so much.
I
Oh,
love her.
the
I love her. I
rage.
love her.
Um,
I love her. I want to
look,
be her. I just want to annihilate. Like, you know what it
don't
is?
be her. Don't be
When
her.
I'm full of rage, I just want to be able to morph into Beth and like annihilate everything in my path. But like
You
only
know
in
what
the
it
way that
is.
she would.
You know what it is though. Like it just comes off so pathetic. Like it just comes off like, "Oh, you wounded little bird. Like who hurt you?"
Of
That's how
course.
it comes off. Do you know what I mean?
I
Like it doesn't
know.
doesn't come off to me anyway. Like, "Oh, you're a badass bitch." It comes off to me
Right.
like, oh, you're just a hurt person and you're
I
miserable.
know. But I guess I feel, like I said, I connect with Beth.
Yeah.
So like, I actually think that there have been times that I have acted that way. Maybe not to that extreme. But, like, I think I have acted in ways where it's like, "Okay, Stephanie, calm the fuck down," you know?
There
And I'm
are
just like,
I think there are times when situations do call for that.
yeah,
Like when she shuts guys down in bars, like I'm here for that. You know what I mean? But like I don't
yeah,
know. Like she just comes so hard for everybody. It's uncomfortable. I would
I
not be
love
able to
it.
be around this person.
I love it.
So Jamie, so Linnell gives John a reality check. She's like, John, listen to me. To change, you need to change laws to crush market equities, and to change laws, you need favors, and to get favors, you need to give favors, which means you need to play the game a little bit.
Mhm.
She tells him Jamie granted the lease because he's like, you're the one who got me into this situation. She's like, no, John, I didn't grant the lease. Jamie did, and he was wise to do so because if he didn't the state would have taken his land. So basically, they have this land board, and it's made up of five people. And the attorney general is one, and I think Linnell was one, the governor. And the other three people were all their campaigns were funded, and they were in bed with market equities. So she's like, if they had gone before that land board, they just would have taken your land.
Right.
Like
I know.
At least now you still own it.
See,
And,
this is where I actually thought John was being a huge dick. Like, he's
yeah,
so not
yeah,
fit for this office. It's actually pissing me off. Like, I'm
yeah,
annoyed by
he's
it. And I love him. Like, I just admitted that I have, like, a secret crush that I'm a little embarrassed of, but
well, I
I'm
mean,
actually
this is what happens
scared
when you let people who hate government and don't believe in government into the
and
government.
I know. I know,
They
it's
don't understand how
embarrassing.
it
It's so bad.
works. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
I mean,
Ugh.
I get I understand his mindset and where he's coming from, but, like, you need Linnell's right, like, you need to work within the system to change the system. The
Yeah,
system is there, you're never gonna take it down, you know what I mean?
I know.
So, she says, "The minute you cancel that lease, that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna take it before the land board, and you're gonna lose your land." She says, "Don't be a shitty politician. Play the game or the game plays you." And then Linnell says, "I'm here for another month. Use me." And he says, "That's a refreshing thought." And she goes, "That's not what
Mm.
I meant." So another hint at them banging. So Beth
Wait,
is heading.
hold on a second.
Go
Do
ahead.
you think you think Jamie's gonna sleep with Linnell?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's what I thought you said, but okay.
I think that's
But
going to
but
happen.
but who says use me is John?
Yes. Well, Linnell says, "Use
Okay.
me." And John says, "Oh, that's
Oh,
a
right.
refreshing thought."
That's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay.
She's notice that she and John are very flirtatious, but they're not acting on it.
True.
And in the
True, true.
past, they've acted on it many times. So I don't know what the
Right.
difference is here.
I know. I know. It's weird.
So Beth heads over to Jamie's office and I don't know, there's door slamming and whatever. She says, "Never contradict him again. And when he says jump, you start hopping." And Beth reminds him this isn't his family because he's adopted. And I just wrote, Jesus Christ, dude. It's not his fault he's adopted.
I know. That was annoying. I'm
Mm.
with you on that.
And she says, "Your political career was over the day you chose your father over mine. You're
Ugh,
in prison now. And if you ever forget it, I'll put you in a real one." She
I
wants
love
him to
it.
move home on the weekends so that she can keep an eye on him. And she's like, "Say yes, ma'am." And he says, "Yes, ma'am." And I wrote, "Please, somebody just kill her. Please. Let's end this character."
I love her. I have like a love
Oh, I
hate. I
know.
love her so
Listen,
much.
listen. You are in the majority. I am in the minority. Most people love her. I can't stand
Really?
her.
Because in
Yes.
my experience, I'm the only one that loves her.
No, I think she's like a fan favorite.
Really? I didn't
Mhm.
know that. None of the people I know like her.
So Monica's not doing well. She is sitting
Uh,
on that beautiful porch that they have.
poor
And
Monica.
Casey's sitting there and she says she wants to have a funeral for the baby, but she just wants it to be them. Casey says, "I should have been here." And she says, "Nope, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do the should haves because I could should have myself to death." And then she says she wants to
No,
bury the baby at the ranch so they'll always have access to him. And she asks Casey if this is what he saw when he said he saw the end of them at the end of his vision.
I
And
know
he
we spoke
says,
about this last week.
"Yep." And he says, "No." And he says, "The end of us is something I would have to choose." And then
And I'm
he
never
holds
gonna
her
do
on his
that.
lap and she sobs. And I just wrote, "Please make it. I believe in their love."
But he says, and I'm never gonna do that. And it was
I
so hot.
know. I know. He's just amazing.
I know he's amazing. He's so hot.
So now we have the cowboys wrangling some cows up, and I had to put my dog away because she was going bananas.
Fucking Nelly.
And they find a cow that appears to have been eaten by wolves, but Ryan says he doesn't think wolves killed this cow, and he wants to call Casey Dutton livestock cop. It's so ridiculous.
It is so
And
ridiculous.
Rip says, "No, no, no. After with all that Casey's going through, we'll deal with this ourselves." And then we
Mm.
have this like little scene where Walker finds a stray calf and they return him to the pack. And I'm here for anything Walker does.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't
I
know,
know you
wrangle up
are.
a calf, chop down a tree, whatever you gotta do,
Yeah,
dude.
whatever.
Now Sarah Atwood. Oh, go ahead. Do you have a thought on that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say these scenes when they're in like the wilderness of the
Mm-hmm.
beauty of
Mm-hmm.
Montana
Yep.
was really starts to upset me in a real weird way because those are scenes of like images I feel like of our planet that some of us are never going to see because we're just ruining our planet. And it's just hurt. It hurts my heart truly that it's just not going to be anymore.
Yep. Yep.
Ugh, I hate that.
I agree with you. There's a part of me that is like, I could totally live in that wilderness and never again come back to a city.
A billion percent.
But I also like, I don't know. It sounds stupid to say, "Oh, I like things to be walkable," because you could walk anywhere on that ranch. But, like, I do like the conveniences of having a city where you have things
Mhm.
near you,
Of
but
course.
so
I
beautiful.
just mean like the beauty and the purity of untouched land
Yeah.
that we just don't see and that we're
Yeah,
probably not going to see,
Timmy
you know?
always says to me, like, "They're not making any more land." Like, that's what you
I
need
know.
to buy and keep and hold and preserve, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, now we have Sarah Atwood arriving at Market Equities just as John is calling a press conference to pull their funding. Now, over at the Dutton camp, Jamie gives John the executive order but says, I must warn you, as the attorney general, signing this is war. And John says, they're raping our family. No, they're not raping our family.
Amy, nobody's gonna rape a Dutton as long as I'm around. I'm John Dutton and no one rapes my family.
They're raping our land. They're raping the land our family has bled into for over a century. We're already at war. Okay, dude. Woof. Okay. So now John comes out and he gives some crappy speech about freedom and how building more strips the freedoms of clean air and schools and blah blah blah. And it's not progress. It's an invasion that ends today. And he pulls funding for Paradise Valley immediately. And Jamie, the state attorney general, stamps it. And I wrote, how is this not nepotism? Three members of the same family are up there running the
I know.
state.
I know. It's actually, it kind of pisses me off a little bit. It's
Yeah.
everything we hate about
Politics.
government.
Yeah, yeah,
Politics,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Mhm, mhm.
So at Markwood Equities, they want a cease and desist in front of the judge right now. They're like, this cannot happen. And again, just like Ellis previously, Sarah notices Jamie is moping. Jamie's got to stop moping publicly on television. And she says, that's the one. I'm going to start with him. I'm going to pick him.
Is Sarah the slug?
Is Sarah the slug? What do you
Who's
mean?
Sarah?
Sarah's the woman they bring in to seduce Jamie or do whatever.
Oh, that's her name. The dark-haired one that kind of reminds me of Linnell. You know I'm bad with the names. This is why I have to
Yeah, yeah,
talk them
yeah,
out sometimes.
yeah.
Okay, wait.
Okay.
That's
Who's the
Sarah.
slug?
The little blonde lady. Doesn't she look like a little slug?
Carolyn?
She's like, ugh. Yeah. She
Yeah,
always
she
looks like
looks.
she's like this, and she's stuffed in her outfit, and she's yelling, and she's throwing things, and she's looking, she like she can't move. Like she
It's a pretty
reminds
good
me of a
imitation,
slug.
actually. She re- she reminds me of it, and I don't even know how she could be the lady from Poltergeist. I've said that before. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. No, she reminds
So
me of like a slug, like a human
yeah,
slug.
you do pretty
Mhm.
good imitation with the voice. I like it.
She's the slug, just so you know, going forward.
Okay. So Beth arrives somewhere, and this valet is like, "Hi, Miss Dutton," and she's like, "It's Mrs. I'm
Mm,
an honest woman now." You're not Mrs. Dutton. That would be like you're married to your
I know.
father.
I
What
know.
is Rip's
Hmm,
last name?
we don't
Is
know.
it Van Winkle? Is it Torn? We don't know.
It's is it torn?
He comments on her car and how high the payments must be. Listen to me, valet. Mind your own goddamn business. What are you talking about my car
Really?
payments for?
I
And she's
can't.
like, I found that the payments have an inverse relationship to the length of my skirt. Okay.
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 Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought that was annoying. Sorry.
Yep.
That was
So
super annoying.
now the cowboys are cowboying, and things take a real dark turn. Real
Oh,
dark turn.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
'Cause, like, everybody's fine, Carter's riding John's horse, Lloyd's like, "You're doing such a good job," everybody's happy, everything's good, And then all of a sudden, you see Carter fall, and we realize that
Oh.
John's horse has stepped in a hole and has broken its leg. Rip starts screaming at Carter,
I know.
and then he shoots the horse right in front of Carter. And Carter cries, and I just wrote, Rip is hanging out with Beth too much. This is
Mm,
the Bethification of Rip.
I didn't like it. Didn't like it. I actually thought he was going to make Carter shoot the horse. I was surprised that he did it himself. I truly thought when he grabbed that gun, I'm like, he's going to make that kid shoot this horse. I'm completely surprised that he didn't do that. I really thought that's
Listen,
where this was going.
listen, you need to bury a body or you need a crime covered up. Rip is the guy you call.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need to come so hard on these. Oh wait, that sounds terrible. That sounds sexual. He doesn't need to be so difficult with these children. Let's
Yeah,
say
and
he doesn't
he's
need to come so
so
hard on these
gruff.
boys.
Yeah, I mean, for clarification, Rip isn't coming on anyone's children.
No,
None of
no,
that's
he's not.
happening.
No. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
So Beth is at a bar and some dude is hitting on her, and he's a professor at Northwestern, I guess.
How
And
did she? But like, okay, I sorry. I just
I
wanted to
know.
break this scene down
No,
for a
go
minute.
ahead. Go ahead.
Have you ever been in a situation where a man approaches you at a bar in that way and talks to you like that? I
Okay,
have
I've
not.
never been in a situation where a man approaches me at a bar, but
Okay,
I
me
don't look
either.
like Beth.
Well, me either. But
Apparently this is a thing. Everybody goes up to her.
is it because of the way she looks, though? I hadn't even thought of it that way. Like, I'm just saying, I have never been approached by a man in that manner as an adult, I guess is what I'm saying. I mean, I can tell you stories of being sexually harassed and assaulted as a teenager in school, even,
Sure, of course.
but like
I mean, I
as
don't
an
go to bars
adult,
by
this is,
myself
I
though.
guess I'd, no, I haven't either. I have been in a few hotel bars by myself, though, like
Yeah,
traveling with work and stuff. I have been
yeah.
in many hotel bars by myself, especially in the last 5 years.
I think
And
I
this is
give off a
just,
real unapproachable vibe though.
I think I do too. Actually, I think someone has told me that. Never mind.
I'm just like, stay away from me. I don't even
Yeah.
want to talk to you. I don't know. I,
Right?
First of all,
It
how
just
does she
didn't
know so
feel
much about
real.
this guy?
Exactly. Again, you're not the smartest person in the room. And here's where I agree with you on Beth being overwritten. This scene was so annoying. And I love her, but this was annoying and it was even a stretch for her. It pissed me off. Although I will say, by the end of it, I'm like, she actually did act it pretty well. And the fact that that was a long dialogue that she spit
Mhm,
out real fast there, which was really impressive, but it was annoying
mhm.
with you.
Yeah. Well, and again, there's this anti-intellectualism, right? Like,
Hmm.
oh, you're a professor at Northwestern. Being a
Yeah.
professor at Northwestern is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So,
Being a
like,
professor, period, is
yeah,
a pretty
like,
big fucking deal.
can we just stop shitting on people
Shitting on,
who are in
yeah,
education? You know what
I
I mean?
can't. You know
So
how I
now
feel
she's
about
with
it.
John, and they're meeting with Ronnie and some other dude from the planning commission.
Mhm.
And they're like, John, we don't understand why you're here, why you're trying to kill this airport deal, because Linnell and your son like pushed it down our throats, and now you want to squash it. And John says, you really want 30,000 people from the Bay Area out here putting up a Starbucks where your fly shop is?
That was a good
Okay,
line.
I have something to say. I have something to say, and I'm sorry if
Okay.
it's going to offend people, and it might.
Okay.
If you've spent any time in the state of California, they are some of the most eco-conscious people I've ever met in my
Yeah.
life. Try to
Yeah.
find a fucking plastic bag or a plastic straw in California. You will not find it. They live and die by the ocean. They take care of it. They're very into conservation.
Agreed.
You do not like, this is kind of like people who think they own patriotism. Like John Dutton does not own the idea of environmental preservation.
I
You know what I
know.
mean? Like,
But I mean, I admittedly have never been to California, but my husband Patrick lived there for a
mhm.
while.
Mhm.
And but he will even tell you that there are parts of California that like you wouldn't want to walk through.
Of
So,
course there are. Of course there are. But there are also large swaths of it that really, depend on the
Oh,
oceans being healthy.
dude, 100 there is no
Mhm.
question that, like, California's killing it in that regard. I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
and
like,
are
it's
there
yeah,
parts of California that are super dangerous and not very nice? Of course. Yes, absolutely.
yeah. John just didn't know what he was talking about, it was annoying.
But the people that he is referencing here, 30,000 people from the Bay Area, I would
Mhm.
guess that the people in the Bay Area are pretty eco-conscious. Come at me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. Like, you might
Oh,
know
no,
someone
yep,
who
you're right.
burns tires in their backyard in San Francisco. I don't know. But it's just like it's this idea of like your dedication to the environment does not is not governed by where you live. And
Right,
I'm sick of that stereotype. Okay.
right.
Like, I'm so sure they're gonna move there and turn it all into a Starbucks. Okay.
No,
Like,
I
they want
know.
it for what you wanna keep it for. They want it because it's pristine and beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're gonna move there with
Yeah.
the I don't
No,
know.
but, like, I get his point because that kinda goes back to what I was saying earlier, is, like, what I think he's trying to say is no they don't wanna look at a fucking Starbucks. Nobody
Right.
wants like, even though the land is pristine and beautiful, he's not wrong, they wanna build an airport on it. What's in an airport?
Yeah.
Starbucks, Dunkin'
Yep.
Donuts, McDonald's,
It's
all
just
that
these
shit.
sweeping generalizations
I
that I can't deal
know,
with.
I know.
So, and I feel the same way when people when, Carolyn the Slug was like, "Oh, these fucking hillbillies." Like, not everybody in Montana's
Mhm.
a hillbilly.
I
Like, I
know.
feel the same way. Like, knock it off. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Kyle and Ronnie, the planning commission guys, are like, you will kill hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes for this county if you pull out of this airport. And Beth says, "Of course, Beth, smartest person in the room. Well,
Mhm,
where's all the sewage going to go for these? Like, they haven't thought about this. Okay, I've built a house and I
yeah.
had to get the plans drawn up and I had to do the land surveying and I had to do all of that. They are on it when it comes to the septic system and where the sewage is going to go. Like, they haven't thought this out already.
I
They've
know,
thought it out. Let me tell you."
I know.
So John says, "I need you to kill the request to rezone." And he said, "A lot of people, they say a lot of people in the valley support the airport." And Beth is like, "Oh no, those out of staters support it. People who have no vote." And Kyle and Ronnie say, "Well, they might not have no vote, but they have money. And, we like money." And John says, "When was the last time a governor gave you his word?" "I give you my word that you two will still be in office and there'll be no litigation." And he's like, "I only need 2 votes. Do I have them?" And he says, "When you deny," they say yes. And
Mhm.
he says, "When you deny the building permit, I'm revoking the lease and putting the ranch in a conservation easement. There'll be nothing to litigate." And they're like, "Why didn't you just say that? Sounds good. Awesome. Amazing." Now, Beth freaks out because she's like, "If you put the ranch into a conservation easement, we can't sell off pieces of it for money or to cover the taxes or anything. We can't develop it. No one ever can. We can lose the whole thing." And he says, "It'll be whole, honey. That matters more than anything." So
Mm.
he's basically shooting himself in the foot here because, as we recall last
Oh, yeah.
season, that ranch puts out more than it takes in.
Mhm. Oh, we
So
know. Yeah,
them having little pieces that they can sell off is,
I
vital to
know.
keeping them going.
I know. He
Interesting.
just isn't getting the big he's just not getting it. So
Well,
irritating.
again, it's the ranch before everything.
Yep, yep.
So John arrives at the ranch and Rip is there to meet him. And Rip tells John about Carter's accident and how they had to shoot the horse. And John's not upset. He's like, that's part of the deal of riding. Like, it happens. And then Rip and Beth go bang for like 17 hours.
Mhm.
Now,
I mean, who knows?
Colby and Ryan are night hunting the wolves. Because Rip had said to them, remember, like, go take care of those wolves.
Yep.
So they shoot them and they're using thermocam at night. And afterwards, they find out the wolves are from the Yellowstone Park and they have beacons on
They're
their collars.
tagged,
And
yep.
Ryan is freaking out because he's like, these, these are super popular wolves.
They have
They have
Facebook
Facebook
pages.
pages.
I know.
And he's like, "We're fucked." And so he's like, "Let's just take the collars and keep them moving until I can think of what to do." Okay.
Isn't that wild? I know.
Now, without any warning again, we have this flashback, and I'm like, "Who are these people?" And then I realize it's a flashback. It's a young John Dutton. Do you know that actor? Do you know where he's from?
He's
Yeah,
the
you do.
guy
Come on, get
from I
there.
do. Is it Sweet Home Alabama?
Mhm, mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep, very good.
I know.
Yes. He's the guy that blows the glass in the sand. The guy she, like, ends up with.
Yes.
Yes, yes. I loved him in that movie.
Same. He's
What
amazing and he's super handsome. He
what is
actually is the perfect person to he was like a perfect cast, I feel like, for a young John. I thought anyway.
right, but a young John. You'll see.
Yeah.
I have a problem with this
I
coming
know.
up.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
So, young John Dutton finds some dead fish and some dead elk, and there's clearly something in the water that's killing people off. Killing animals off, not people, animals.
I
So
have a
they
real
take
problem with the animals
I
that
know.
get killed in this show.
I know. So they take the helicopter up and they find this construction site and they land the helicopter. John gets out of the helicopter, walks right up to this dude and punches him right in the fucking face. And then pulls a gun on all of them. Like, wow, okay, coming in hot.
Mhm.
And he
Mhm.
tells them they're spraying shit in the creek and it's killing his cattle. And the dude's like, "Hey, this is EPA approved and I'm putting a cell phone tower here and I don't give a fuck what you say." Now then he deserved the punch in the face. But
Yeah.
like hear him out
I know.
first.
I know.
John takes his business card and he leaves. That night, they come back and they take all of the chemicals. And Baby Rip gets in the bulldozer and the skid steer and they drive them off cliffs. Now, those are probably $60,000, $70,000 pieces of equipment that they're
I
trashing.
know.
Then they drive to the dude's house and they spray it with the chemicals and he catches them. They knock him out. He wakes up the next day and he's burnt all over his body and shit.
I
It's
know. It's
wild.
wild.
But here's my thing, like they have modern technology. They have like I felt that that was maybe only 20 years ago,
Mm,
right?
I mean, maybe twenty
And
thirty.
like do you look that drastically different from the time you're 40 to 65? Do you look like a completely different person? Like couldn't they just have younged Kevin Costner down is my
Oh, see, I didn't think it I see, and I don't I guess that I didn't think it's that I don't think it's that drastic.
it just came out of nowhere for me. I was like,
Yeah,
"Who is this dude?"
I know.
Okay, so Beth and Rip are taking a break from their banging when his phone rings. It's Colby
Mm,
and Ryan. And Rip gets there and he's like, "Why'd you shoot the ones with the collars?" Like he's freaking out. Um, so you commit a crime in the middle of the night, you get one phone call, who do you call?
you?
Am I your Rip?
Mhm.
I come
Who
out
do
there,
you
I take
call?
charge of shit. I would call
Mhm.
you.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
100%. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, just checking. So Rip takes the collars and he's like, "We have to move like wolves and get these collars back into the park." And then we get some actual Yellowstone footage, like footage of the park, which I was
I know.
enjoying.
Yeah.
And they tie the collars to logs and they put them in the river. And Rip says, "Don't ever tell a soul." And Ryan says, "Yeah, no shit. We could go to jail for like a decade." Next
God.
morning,
Can you
Clara,
imagine, though?
what, going to
Like,
jail for a
actually
decade?
going to jail for a decade for accidentally killing a wolf? Well, it wasn't accidental, but killing the wrong wolf.
I know. This plays
Like, it's
into my getting wrongfully
crazy.
imprisoned.
Yes. I know. Oh, I hate
Mm.
it. I hate it. I hate it.
Speaking of fears, thanks for making Zelda from Pet Cemetery show up in my feed yesterday.
Now, see, I'm sorry. I really
Jesus.
am. But when I did that, I'm like, "See, it's not that scary." Like,
No,
I
it
didn't find it to
is.
be that s okay, I'm sorry.
It's
I thought maybe I was softening the scare, being like, "See, it's a guy, and it's dressed up, and it's just a guy." That's what I
no.
saw, because I didn't think it was scary at all.
I
And I
love how
don't love Zelda.
your sister was like, "This is the scariest piece of film ever." And I'm like, "Yes, yes it is." Zelda in Pet Sematary, you are not human if you're not still terrified of that person.
I know, I'm
Oh
sorry.
god,
I
it
really
haunts
was
my
like, "Oh,
dreams.
look," I'm like, "Look, it's not that scary anymore. See,
No,
it's
it's
just a
scary.
guy."
It's scary.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll never do it
Yeah,
again.
it's
Sorry.
scary. Okay, so the last scene is Clara waking up on the ranch and she's really impressed by it. And she's like, what does it take to keep all this? And, he gives one of his big speeches. And then at the end, we see one of the collars gets hung up in the river on a branch. I don't know what that means for us,
Mm,
but this is going to come
well,
back to haunt us.
yeah, it is for sure.
hmm So that's where we leave the Duttons.
Mm,
Duttons. The
Duns. All right, a
Duttons.
couple
Nobody's
things.
raping the Duttons. Go ahead.
Ain't nobody raping no Duns. Okay, so we didn't talk about the casino. There's a scene in the middle of the show where they're walking through the
With
casino.
Thomas Rainwater and Mo?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I
You're
just
right.
want
I
to
forgot
break
that part.
down. I just want to break down how fucking weird casinos are. And I do not understand the appeal to a casino. It's cheesy. I don't understand. I don't. It's like the cheesiest, weirdest place that anyone would choose to spend time. For all of the
Well,
things on the planet, I cannot understand why people are so into casinos. They're gross and stupid. That's
nobody,
all.
this is going to come as a surprise to no one that I have a moral stand against casinos.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
yeah,
I
exactly.
don't like them because I feel like they swindle older people out of their money. I
They
don't like
do.
gambling. I'm not into gambling. I
And do
don't
you wanna
mind the
know a
lottery, like in Pennsylvania, the
Oh,
lottery
yeah.
supports older
S a
Pennsylvanians, so like I'm
a
for
billion
that.
percent. Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
but
mhm.
no. I don't like
And, like,
casinos and I don't like mediums for that reason.
I just don't like I hate casinos.
Mhm.
And I'm
Mhm.
just always so intrigued by people that, like, live for the casino because 'cause I'm just like, "Ew,
I'll go to a
gross."
casino once in a great while. Like, I don't know, we'll be
Uh,
like, "Oh, let's go down to the casino." And only cuz Timmy's really good at gambling and wins money.
oh,
But
no. I've
I've been married 17 years. We've probably been to a casino twice.
Alright, I've been with Patrick for what, I don't know, a long time, 13, 4 whatever, bazillion
You met
years.
him at the
We
casino.
met in a casino, and that's the only time I've ever been in a casino.
Yep, yep, yep.
And it was accidental. I was there because we were having a going away party for a girl that I worked with,
Right.
and I, like, went begrudgingly because I hate casinos,
Mhm.
and I met my
Mhm.
husband there. Ironically, he hates them too, and we've never been back to it.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
just
I
think they're
mean,
weird.
I never, I guess, have the money to participate in a casino.
I mean,
Um,
that night that we met at the casino, I think we both put like 20 bucks in a slot machine just to see what the fun
mhm.
was, and I lost
Mhm.
$20 in like less than 42 seconds. Like, no.
Dude,
Mm-mm.
we would go down. I'm telling you, we maybe 3 times and Timmy would be playing blackjack and win like $500 out of like 50.
Mm-mm.
And the one time he's like, "Oh, I really got to pee. I'll be right back. Watch this for me." I'm like, "Okay." I pissed it all away while he's in the bathroom.
Oh,
The entire
no.
stack cuz I don't know how to gamble. And he comes back, he's like, "What'd you do? What'd you do?"
Oh,
Like,
no.
"Nothing.
Oh,
Nothing." Yeah, I'm a
no.
terrible gambler.
I don't know.
Terrible.
I mean, I have
Mm-mm.
0 desire, which is why I also have no desire to go to Vegas. I know everyone loves the Strip and says
Mm.
everyone should experience it. I
Uh,
have 0 interest in ever stepping foot in Las Vegas.
do you know why I wanna go to Las Vegas? This is so lame. I really wanna see the Hoover
Hmm.
Dam. I really wanna go to the Hoover Dam.
I mean, I
It's an
could see
engineering
Yeah,
marvel,
yeah.
I
I
really
can see
wanna see
that would
it.
be interesting.
But
But
that's
that's
it.
not
I don't wanna go to the
that
Strip,
yeah.
I just wanna go
But,
there.
like, the Hoover Dam to me has nothing to do with the Strip. So, like, I
Right,
don't
right.
I don't
They just happen to be in the
compartmentalize.
same
Yeah,
spot,
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Alright, guys, come at us and let us know. Do you hate Vegas? Do you hate casinos?
So
Is someone
before
raping your family's land?
before we tie it up, I wanna know, we didn't like, what are you loving and what are you not loving?
Okay, so I'm loving the Monica and Casey storyline. I feel like I 100% thought they were gonna go the way, because I mean, you know the work I've done with school shooting survivors.
I know.
Marriages often break up after the death of a child. Like, that's just how it
Yeah.
is. It's very hard to hold it together. Somebody always blames somebody else. There's trauma,
Yeah.
there's guilt, there's, everything. The fact that she's like, no, nobody's responsible for this. Like, she seems to want to put it behind, like, that is refreshing to me. I'm like,
Mhm.
this is refreshing. I'm glad we're doing this.
Mhm. Agreed.
What I'm not liking is Beth. I mean, she's
Mm.
just off the rails, and let me put it this way, season 1 or 2 Beth, I did not hate as much because I felt like, okay, she's angry when it's appropriate, she puts people in their fucking place when it's appropriate, but, like, now it's, like, all the time, and, like, this, like, Beth knows more than anybody in the room is just real annoying.
I know. I
How
also
about you?
think that comes from John giving her too much power though.
Mhm, mhm.
You know? Like he's
Yeah, you could be
allowing
right.
it.
Mhm. You could be right.
Okay. What I am not loving is Rip. He's kind of
Oh,
pissing me off. And I
because
love
he's
Rip.
being so mean to Carter.
He's being so mean to Carter, and I don't like how he bosses Lloyd around. Lloyd's an old man. Lloyd is
You
an
are a
old
Lloyd you are a
I
Lloyd
am.
defender.
I am. I will defend Lloyd until my last breath. Lloyd
Yes.
looks and reminds me of my father, but there's just something so
You're a
endearing
Lloyd
about
apologist.
Lloyd.
That's what I was looking
I
for.
am.
Yeah.
Like, there's something so endearing about Lloyd, and he's always shit on by somebody, mostly Rip.
Yeah, remember when
And I
they had to
just
beat the
hate
shit
it.
out of him in the bunkhouse last
Yeah,
year?
no, yes.
Mhm,
But like
mhm.
Rip showing up and just being a dick, and like it was funny in the beginning, him losing his patience with the kid, and I get all of that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then the shooting of the horse, and like I hated Rip in this episode. I'm over Rip this one. I'm
Okay,
sure I'll love him by the next one. It's fine. I just wasn't feeling him this time.
okay,
Um, but I just, I love Lloyd. And
okay.
I
So
loved
Lloyd is
Lloyd
what
in
you're
this
loving.
episode. And he didn't
Okay.
even have a huge part. I just love how Lloyd knows when to be soft with people. And
Yes.
I just love Lloyd's interaction with that kid. You're
Lloyd
going
is
to
the
think I'm
heart
so
of the
weird.
bunkhouse.
I know. I
I mean, he
know.
got a little weird last season when they were making him, like, be jealous over this 25-year-old girl.
I know. That was
Like,
weird.
and he
I
thought
know.
he was gonna compete with Walker? What?
I know.
Lloyd,
Oh, I
look.
know.
Look, Lloyd. If you're listening, come closer. You had your time, Lloyd. You had your time. Let the Walkers of the world date the 25-year-olds, okay?
I know. But Lloyd, if you're
Find
listening,
yourself a nice 50-year-old woman and just be gentle and nice.
I know.
Knock it
But
off.
Lloyd, if you are listening, I love
John Dutton, if you're listening, don't break my land. All right.
you.
Okay, guys, here's what's coming up on Little Miss Recap. Jenny and I watched the Wham documentary. We put that out. Leslie and I will be back with And Just Like That, which we might
Ugh,
be seeing the last of Che Diaz because they and Miranda broke up. So,
can't see my fingers are crossed.
fingers crossed. And Amanda and I are going to start recapping Yellow Jackets season 1. So we're
Oh,
going to be
nice.
doing that.
Awesome. Sweet, sweet.
So we have a lot of content coming at you. And
Awesome.
also we have that special edition of me breaking down the Sister Wives trailer and the special
Hmm.
episode of Jenny and I talking about the Emmys, which was supposed to be in the front of the Wham episode, and we talked for 30 minutes. So I'm like, I need to make this its own episode because everybody will hate me. All
Funny.
right. So, Steph, you and I will be back with episode 3 next week.
Leave us a
And that's it.
review.
That's all I got. Yeah, leave us a review, guys, and slide into our back door friends group.
Friends group. I mean, not my actual back door because no
Right.
thanks, but Amy might
Right.
be up for that.
Right.
She's the one that
Slide
welcomes
into
all things anal, so.
Yep, slide into our back door friends. And we can find you on Facebook and we can hang out in there. We have fun in that
Love it.
group.
We do. We're having a
We
good
do.
time. I love
Yeah,
it.
we're
I
having
love
a
it
good
so
time.
much.
If you don't want to objectify Tom Pelfrey, don't come in. because there's a lot of that going on. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Leave us a review wherever you listen and stay subscribed because we got a lot of content coming at you. Oh, and I launched my Patreon. I forgot to say that.
Ooh.
So we do have a Patreon now if you want to support the show. You join at the $5 tier. Everything is commercial free. The $8 tier is where you're going to get your reality binges and your special stuff. So Sister Wives season 18 will be on that $8 tier. So join up.
Can't
And
wait.
then there's a special Goldie tier, which is like, for those of you who just want to throw money at us. So that's there. But every dollar you pledge, helps keep the lights on, helps with the cost of all the services I have to subscribe to, all the advertising I have to do to try to get people to listen. So thank you. All right. And Steph, thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
And I will see you later. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.